Do do do, theme song. Do do do, I'm broke, so this is my theme song. Do do do, just imagine this is an awesome theme song. Do do, theme song. Left of the box. Hello, welcome to Left of the Box. Bonjour, bienvenue. I'm Sandy, and this is Lanier. Welcome everyone to my kind of super casual, chill, relaxed stream on, it depends on how you feel, on this Christmas day or on this particular Monday that just happens to be on the 25th of December, whichever one you celebrate. Like I was saying yesterday in my stream, I wanted to have one today because I know this time of year can be really difficult for people. And I know a lot of people often spend this day alone. And for many people, like I've been in that situation plenty of times, not only are we spending it alone, but all of our regular programming tends to be on break, so you don't even kind of get that outlet and stuff. So I wanted to come on here so that if you are one of those people that are feeling alone, or maybe you're not feeling alone and you just want to see a friendly face, to let you know you're not alone. We have a great community here. We have people that care for you no matter where you are. Even if you've never said anything in the chat before, we are here for you and we care for you. And I just felt it was super important to do this. So I have a cat on my lap as I'm trying to do this. I don't really have much planned. Welcome. Yes, it is Boxing Day Eve here in Canada, Brenda Knoll. And we have Morbius Dragon, Nyitha from Studio City, California. Hello. Emergency Remedial Truth, a nice surprise. Hi, Sandy. Hi, gang. Yep. And Crystal, Crystal. I'm just so bad with names. Lanier jumped off my lap, which is good, so I have more freedom of movement. So I did end up going to my family's place today, and it was very pleasant. You know, lots of interesting conversation, nothing tense. I actually found out my brother-in-law is a little bit more left-leaning than I thought he had been, or thought he was. So that was nice. And also, everyone needs to see, this is my Christmas shirt that I love to wear this time of year. I'm having a meltdown with a snowman on there and stuff. Yeah. Oh, Crystal, thank you so much for the $3. I really appreciate that to you. Chai M, hi, I sent you money for your cat. How is your cat feeling? I hope you're doing okay. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Frodo is doing, actually, he's doing okay. Because I had to take Abernathy to the vet last week because somehow the two babies caught a virus, a cat virus. And Abernathy, his eye got like all red and yucky, and he was sneezing like crazy. Lanier was just sneezing. So I had to take Abernathy to the vet, and there they gave me some recovery cat food and things to give him to help him heal. And I got extra because Frodo is still not great. So I had all 3 cats sick at the same time. But I brought home that food and Frodo is eating it. Like, this is the first time I've seen him eat like normal amounts in months, is with this cat food from the vet. And I'm super, heartened to see him actually eat a decent amount. The only problem is he can't stay on this food. This food is called recovery cat food, and it is specifically for, recovering from illness or surgery. It's also over $5 a tin for one of those small tins. So I am taking him to the vet, the not-for-profit vet, so I was able to get him into that one. I'm also taking Lanier in on Wednesday, and for Lanier, it's just to make sure the virus is out, that he doesn't have a lingering lung infection. The antibiotics the vet gave Abernathy last week seem to have been working. His eye is all cleared up. He's not sneezing as much. But I'm also taking Frodo into the not-for-profit vet on Wednesday just to see, get their opinion as to how he's doing and see if there's another cat food that's a hell of a lot cheaper that would be very similar taste-wise to the food that he has been eating, so that I can hopefully get some weight on him. But, just seeing him eat a regular amount, I just, it's been a long haul. But I still have to keep him separated overnight in the bedroom with me because he doesn't eat all in one sitting. Like, he's a grazer. And he's always been that way. But Lanier is a little monster when it comes to wet cat food. He will just, if he smells it, if he sees it, he will like chew through my arm to try to get to it. So I have to keep him out of the bedroom when that happens. But really glad that all 3 of them seem to be doing a lot better. So I just waiting till Wednesday to see what they say about Frodo, if there's anything they think they can do for him. But also, it's just a matter of trying to find a cat food he'll eat now. And hopefully Lanier gets a clean bill of health. And this is the not-for-profit vet. So I'm still just working on paying down Frodo's vet bill from the emergency, because I had to take him to a different vet clinic because the other vet clinic, I could take him in same day, and then they had all the facilities needed, like the x-rays. If I needed an ultrasound, it'd be there, all the blood work and stuff. So I didn't really have much choice. I had to take Frodo into that vet. And, the other vet I took him to is a good vet. They treat him really well, and they are reasonably priced. They're not an overpriced vet, but it's much nicer to get them into the not-for-profit vet because that's a very drastically different vet bill. It's just the unfortunate thing is that if I need to make a same-day appointment, it's not going to happen with them, just given the volume that they get. Anyway. Loud noises. Did I leave something on that's making a loud noise? I don't know. So emergency remedial truth. Nice, been nice here too. My daughter made a feast and grandson got what he wanted for Christmas. He's a very good boy. Son-in-law gave me 5-pack of reefers. Oh, okay. And so I am why mellow. Hello, Abraham. Nice to see you here too. Yeah, so I did go out to see family today, although I decided against having like a call-in type thing. We can still have it if people are really interested. The only thing is that it will be more like it won't be a phone call, but it will be through StreamYards. But you won't be able to see me and I won't be able to see you. It would just be audio. So we'll have to see. But my energy is really right now because I did not sleep well last night. Nothing to do with the family either. There's an issue with my toilet and plumbing and water coming up where there shouldn't be water and stuff. And it's all backed up and coming up by the water heater and stuff. Luckily, there's another toilet I can use in the interim, but I had to get maintenance in. And of course, this happens Christmas Eve at 12:30 at night. I'm brushing my teeth and I hear a bloop, bloop as air bubbles start coming up my toilet, and it made a mess. And I'm just like, oh God. And so I'm super sensitive to sounds too. So I was hyper alert to any sounds that might be happening to see if the flood was going to get out of control. But luckily, it would just flood a little bit around where the water heater is. There's some pipes that go on the floor. The water would kind of come out, but then kind of seep back in. The only problem is there's a lot of crap in the floor, like not literal shit, but there's like gunk and stuff kind of coming up with this water that's in the floor, and it smells. And I'm just like, so I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm super tired. And so I'm like, I don't know if I could do like a call-in show today. And then I also got so disappointed with something. I'm a huge fan of somebody online called Ryan George. I've plugged his YouTube channel before. We might even go over some of his videos on this stream because he does some really funny Christmas videos and stuff. But for the past 3 years, he releases a poster every year, and the proceeds of these posters go to charity. And so a gift to myself was I wanted to get his most recent poster, and I ordered it a while ago. And it showed up on my doorstep yesterday. And so I thought, like, wow, this is perfect timing. I kind of gave this to myself for Christmas in a way. So I even waited till this morning to open it so that I could see my new poster. And they sent me the wrong one. They sent me the one from last year that I already have. So I took a picture of it, holding it up to the poster from last year, saying, yeah, you guys sent me the wrong one. You need to send me the actual one from this year, and hopefully it's still available because they're only limited edition. Anyway. But let's start off with some other positive stuff. In honor of somebody who donated over $500 towards Frodo's vet bills, I said that in that person's honor, I would do a portrait of a petter person, a commission portrait of a petter person for somebody living with poverty. And this is something I've been planning to do for quite some time. And you can go to my website, SandeeLovas.com. Here, let's do this. Gotta do the official plugging while I'm doing this. SandeeLovas.com right here. And there's a page in the menu bar that says donate. And you can go there and read up on it. But basically what it is I know what it's like to live with poverty and to see beautiful art or custom-made things and know I can never get that because I can just never afford it. And I don't want to, deny people living with less the opportunity to get something that they can cherish. Unfortunately, I still need to, it's a time balance management money thing. Like I still need to get some value for my time. So what I've chosen to do is people can just donate towards a portrait. And as soon as it covers the cost of a portrait, then I put out a call for people living with poverty and randomly pick one of those people to receive a portrait at no cost to them. And so in honor of this person's $500 donation towards Frodo, I said that I would do this, and I did it. And the cutoff to enter into this draw was midnight last night. And I've explained in another video, I have to kind of do this on Twitter, unfortunately. Like I know there's lots of wonderful people in the chat here, but the issue is, well, the way that it works in Twitter is you can reply with pictures. And it's important to reply with the picture you would want me to draw, so I know if that picture is usable for me, like it's an ideal picture that I can draw, that I'd be able to give this person a good, beautiful piece of art. And so I would hate to select someone only to find out that they don't have anything I can use. And so it's best if I just be able to see the pictures ahead of time, and so those people can be entered into the draw. And there's unfortunately some restrictions like Canadian mailing address, because even though I got the $500 towards Frodo's vet bill, doing a portrait for somebody at no cost still costs me. Like I'm donating towards this as well, because there's the cost of getting it digitize getting a print for myself for my records, as well as shipping. And on top of that, I throw in a frame because if somebody is living with poverty, I then don't want to send them this beautiful, precious, delicate drawing without anything for that to be in, to keep it safe and to display it, because I don't want them to end up going to Walmart and getting a crappy frame or having to spend money on a frame when they don't have the money to do that. So that's something I've chosen to kind of like, that's my donation towards the portrait for that person. So, yeah, so that's all that. So the reason why it needs to be a Canadian shipping address is just, it's cheaper for me. And if they're close enough and I don't need to ship it, even better. But I went and I looked at all the submissions, and from that, we're going to have a draw. So here's the majority report toque for the draw, the official draw for this. And I'm going to reach in, and yeah, in case people are wondering, only one person entered the draw, but I'm still making it official. I'm still pulling the name out. Only one person entered the draw, and that person does have a picture I can use, and that person is Adam Taylor. So Adam Taylor, yes, indeed, I will be drawing that picture for you. And I'll contact him on Twitter. I'll DM him and let him know. And we'll get that arranged. So congratulations, Adam. You're going to get a portrait. So let's see. So I'm really hoping that people can, pop in the chat, join in. This is going to be super casual. I have a couple funny tweets that we can go over and make fun of. I have a funny majority report story to tell of one time when I called in. And basically, like, we can touch on Christmas, but I'm trying not to make this a Christmas stream. Just something fun and social for everyone to kind of get in, listen on. And yes, there's going to be some politics because it's me. So of course there's going to be politics, but funny politics. Nothing too heavy. So I'm going to get this because I need some fuel because, like I said, I am so tired. I got so little sleep last night because of the plumbing issues. Let's see. So, yeah. Welcome, everyone. I was not even expecting this many people to show up today. Oh, don't need that up anymore. Okay. So everyone has seen my awesome shirt. I am having a meltdown with a snowman because that's what this time of year feels like for a lot of people. Why don't we go here first? So Joe is tweeting this person saying, Texan bitching about the price of high quality prime rib set by Texas meat wholesales, not Washington, D.C., is priceless. The amount of stupidity it takes to pay this price for prime rib when average prime rib prices are $6 per pound nationwide, also priceless. But the fact that this dumbass chucklefuck doesn't even know how stupid he is the most priceless thing of all. Typical Republican bitch and moan about shit you don't understand rather than make the effort to learn something. And so, yeah, so you have this Republican here like, oh my God, look, I've paid over $300 for beef ribeye, prime rib. And many people in the comments were pointing out that, $6.99 is kind of like a going rate. Yeah. This person, I got $6.99 pound 3 days ago, stop your crying, and everyone accusing this Republican of crying. Like, here's the thing. If you can afford this, what are you bitching about? Like, because like this type of rib, like we have over, what is this? Over 16 pounds of meat here. That's going to feed a lot of people. And so when you break it down per person, is it really outrageous? Like, well, to me it would be, but when you really kind of think about it, is it all that outrageous when you break it down per person? And the fact that he's blaming Bidenomics, that somehow this is Biden's fault. Come on. Like, this is no different. We had this here in Canada back in October. I even covered it in one of my videos, where a conservative was complaining about, look at the cost of this turkey, it costs so much. And then everyone else pointing out, it's like, yeah, we all got turkeys half that price. Like, where the hell are you shopping? And it'd be nice to get the good quality meat, like, no doubt about it. But it's just Republicans, conservatives, right wingers are so desperate to be the victim that it's like, look, I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars of meat so I can play victim here. Like, it's just, it's so, like, they look for every excuse to just, be the victim. This person saying it's 174, but then over 180 with tax. Yeah, so many people just pointing out, like, it's he made that choice to buy that selection of beef, that quality of beef from that store. I'm more concerned about the people who can't afford to eat at all. And he can afford to buy this. He's just whining that it's a lot. It's the same like you've seen in the airports, some of those conservatives, oh, look at the price of this meal. And then it points out, like, you're in an airport and you ordered alcohol. What do you think it would cost? Just so many people wanting to, like, it says a lot that they have to go this route to cry victim, that there's nothing else in their quiver that they can cry about. There's nothing in their quiver they can quiver about. Am I saying that right? I am so tired. It is a quiver, right? So there's nothing in their quiver they can quiver about. I believe I'm doing the right play on words here. Because quiver is like, oh, as well. So who knows? Who knows? Karen Bass asking, did they actually buy it or did they just take a camera shot of it in the store? I don't know. But everyone else just saying, there's other stuff that he could have bought or complained about. And I've seen so many other conservatives do this type of thing that it's really ridiculous that you're crying over this when, there are people who just can't afford to eat at all. And they look for the most expensive thing possible to then, like, the most highest quality, highest store like the stores that tend to charge the most and stuff, go to there and be like, oh, look at this one example I found of outrageous prices. And it's just like, come on. But it's nice that a lot of people are just pointing out, like, how much of an idiot this guy is for even doing this, because it's not like other people can't go and price match or go out to different stores and be like, there's all these other places you can get decent meat at that's nowhere near that much. So, oh, you can even tell the exact location it's at if you know this, because store 583, you would be able to get the address of that store and find out what else is there. Not that I care to at all. Let's see. Oh, welcome everyone else who has popped into the chat. Going to reiterate, I'm super tired. Barely got any sleep last night due to a plumbing issue. Then there's also this. Again, conservatives just wanting to be a victim about something. And here they're a victim because their computer-generated women aren't the sex dolls that they want them to be. And we see this all the time. We've seen this so many times before. The emo dragon saying, there you have it, folks. Wokeness is directly proportional to boob size to these clowns. And this guy saying, I'm so fucking sick of liberals because here's, I believe that's what, Laura Croft or something. And here's the new version of Laura Croft, which looks far, far more realistic. Like the hair, the outfit, everything. But Oh no, don't have boobies that, totally like everyone's boobies go like that, especially when you're tomb raiding. You want to have your boobies out like come on. Like so many men just so upset that it's like, oh no, I don't get to look at the sex dolls that I want while I'm playing the game. I have to look at like real people. Oh no. Without maybe looking in a mirror or something. Like I and also I don't think anything is wrong with how she looks here, you know? Like she looks fine. Just and this is why so many people struggle with appearance and perception of beauty and stuff like that, is because we're constantly being compared to things that are not real. Because this is not real. It's not real. Um, this, like, even the jawline, everything, far more realistic. And yeah, it's the same old controversy we see all the time, because here we have the issue with the Grand Theft Auto that came out recently, and I always get so confused when people are ranting about Grand Theft Auto because all I see is GTA trending. And I'm such an Ontarian, all I can think of is what's happening in the Greater Toronto area. But they're constantly just looking for something to complain about, because in the news GTA, it's like, oh no, they're too sexy. Look at them. They're scantily clad women bouncing their butts and stuff. But then as soon as you take a previously bouncy booby woman and make her into a not bouncy booby woman, then suddenly it's like, well, how dare you take that away from us? Like, there's just no winning with these guys. And that's the thing. They don't want to. They want to be the victim. They want to be able to whine about this. And meanwhile, there's people with me with real big boobies that they don't care about and they would never get to see because I don't like them. I don't like any men on the right. That's just it is a default setting. If they're on the right, not interested. And then they get upset when you start, denying them opportunities because of their politics. Because what else am I going, like, that's part of your character. And to me, it just tells me something about their intelligence levels. And I'm attracted to intelligent people. Yes, I'm saying that. I am so in a mood today. Karen Bass, that is not a real person. Photoshopping of real people is also not real. Yeah, Photoshop can do wonders. I've used Photoshop to do wonders. And actually, like, even these days on your cell phone, when you take a picture, it automatically, like, you have to deactivate the automatic enhancement. Otherwise, it's going to make you look prettier, smoother, younger, whatever. And the thing is that I've never really liked doing that for my own profiles, like if I was on a dating site or even for what I do here. Like, yes, the makeup I wear when I'm doing a video and the way the lighting is helps a lot. It helps a lot. But to totally kind of almost misrepresent what I look like in a profile picture, I'm like, why? Because if I ever meet people in real life, especially if it's somebody that I'm maybe going on a date with or something of that sort, why would I want to risk the chance that they're just going to get really disappointed when they see what I really look like? I don't understand that. Like, why try to lure people in with a photo that isn't real in hopes that once you get sitting down with them, they're suddenly going to be like, oh, now that you've proven that you're kind of dishonest to some extent, that you would post a false picture of yourself, I'm going to take the rest of this conversation in good faith because it's not like you're trying to manipulate me or anything. So yeah, I just like it's a personal choice for me. I don't like using Photoshop to enhance my appearance too much on profiles, like dating profiles and stuff. On some pictures, yeah, sure, I do it a little bit, but they're not pictures meant, like, they're usually I'm in costume of some sort, you know. It's not just me per se. Because I did post a bunch of pictures not too long ago, and really it's just kind of enhancing some colors and stuff of that sort, but I didn't, it's not like I had to go and smudge my entire face or anything. Um, like I have white hair, you just can't see it again with this lighting and stuff. So it's not like I'm even photoshopping that out. And my hair just looks like crap today. I'm so sorry. Uh, I just, yeah, it was a very long, stressful night. Yeah, let's just put it back in a proper ponytail. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't like the idea of getting onto a date with somebody under false pretenses with whatever it is. And for the most part, like whatever you're self-conscious about, there's going to be somebody who actually appreciates it. I will say there is an exception with me, and I can get into that in a moment, but like a lot of guys will lie about their height. And I'm like, well, you don't have to do that, because like I know personally me, I don't like guys over 6 feet. I don't like, it doesn't mean it's a no-go, but I'm more drawn to guys that are maybe just slightly taller than me. And that's it, or my height. It's a personal preference. So you don't need to lie about your height to me. And then again, it's one of those things, like once you get onto the date, you don't think the person's going to realize that. The same with women lying about their weight. That's like, you don't think they're going to do that. And then all genders liking to put photos of themselves that are like 15 years old and then trying to use the excuse, well, I haven't changed that much since, when it's like, no, you've changed. You changed. Yeah, and I say I'm the exception because there's things about my body that it doesn't really matter what culture you're from. It's not attractive. Because I used to be very overweight and I'm not anymore. And unless I can get surgeries to kind of tuck everything up and all that sort of stuff, it's a loose, saggy mess. So there's no culture out there that, like, other than extreme fetishes, which I'm not keen to playing into, there's really no one out there that would like my body type. So I have to rely on my charming personality. I've been single my entire life almost. So far, not so good. Oh well. As I've always said, I'd rather be alone and miserable for the rest of my life than to conform and be something I'm not, just to fit in. So I've been alone and miserable for most of my life. Maybe someday. I don't know. I haven't completely ruled out me not being single for the rest of my life. We'll find out. Let's see. Right, I wanted to go to this one as well. Again, conservatives, Republicans, right-wingers, always looking for a reason to be the victim. So here is, I believe they're a politician or something, just posting this fun tweet saying, yesterday in public interest, I should be able to speak properly. Yesterday, in the public interest, I issued a temporary resident visa to a foreign national with history of petty criminality both in Canada and abroad. The individual is a religious figure of Greek descent and considered non-violent. Please remain vigilant during this period. Any guesses who he's talking about? Any? Because according to some right-wingers, a temp resident criminal given a visa to stay in Canada. Who is this person? Name them if we need to be vigilant. From White North. And then it's like, why are you giving criminals temporary resident visas? Liberals need to be voted out. We are such victims here. We're victims. You better watch out. I'm telling you why is the clue that he had to give these people. Because in case you don't know, the community notes that had to go under this person's tweet was, Santa Claus is not a foreign national. He is a Canadian citizen. But we see this type of thing too when people like actually put real Bible quotes up, or there was a time when some people were actually putting the lines from the American Constitution in tweets, but they were just doing like little snippets, and then the right would be like, how dare you do this? This is so wrong. This is socialism. This is communism. This is so, and they would just go on these rants without realizing, the context of what that message was or what it is. And it's just, again, they're just looking to be victims. They just want to be victims so bad. And the thing is that they are, to some extent. They're just not whining about the right thing, because everyone in this society is a victim of capitalism. Like, we're all forced to participate in the system. It's not like we have the ability to opt out. Like, if we want to participate in society, if we want to have job, friends, family, housing, all that sort of stuff, we're forced to participate in capitalism. And so they are victims, they are hurting, but instead of actually directing their anger and pain towards the thing that's causing it, they want to make it about something it's not, something superficial, in hopes that they can, make themselves feel better without having to like fundamentally change the way the world works or something. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, let's see what we have in here. Environmental coffee house. I have never online dated, and I'd be terrified to actually around here. I have tried online dating, and I find it's not for me, because I can't, whoops, I'm polyamorous. So for me in particular, to even just show up to a date with a preconception, like an idea of like, this is the steps we're supposed to take to have this type of relationship, but then if they don't fit the mold of this very specific relationship, then that rules them out for any other kind of relationship. And for so many people, that is actually the case. Like, you have to tick all these boxes, and if you don't, then we can't be in a romantic relationship. And if we can't be in a romantic relationship, we can't be in any relationship. And it also takes me a long time to fall for someone, because I need to see them demonstrate certain values consistently before it finally will click in me. Intelligence being one of them. Compassion is another one. A sense of humor, empathy, vulnerability. Seeing a man show vulnerability over something in their life, something that's personal to them, something that hurts them, a loss that they've suffered, to see them be able to do that actually demonstrates so much strength. And to be able to actually put that out there. And I really admire that in the men who can do that. So it takes me a while. I don't like this idea of like, here's a prescription for a relationship, and if you don't follow into this and that and the other thing, then it's not going to work. So what's the point of the date? Or on your first date, you're supposed to do blank, and on your second date, you're supposed to do blank. And since it takes me so long to fall for someone, I get put off by them if they seem too interested in me too fast, because then I'm like, you're falling for me and you don't even know who I am. Like, they're fixated on just one or two qualities of me, and then like rule out every other quality and things that might not actually get along well. And I'm very tempted to go way TMI right now because I'm so tired, and it's a good demonstration of what I mean. But I don't know how much People should know about my personal sex interests when it comes to this sort of thing. Um, but I've had guys basically say that they would want to do certain things to me that, oh, all women love this type of thing. First of all, not a woman. Also, I find it disgusting. But they don't listen to that and they just keep on bragging about how good they are at it. Even when I've told them like this is not helping your cause here. So it's but they just get so fixated on just a couple features of me that they dismiss, overlook, refuse to accept other traits of me that might not get along with them, that might not be compatible because they're so desperate for me to fit that mold. So really the way that I end up falling for people, like really falling for people, is I have to know them in life. We work at the same place, we go to the same clubs, we volunteer at the same organizations, and just get to know them over a long period of time, but without that pressure of we're meeting up to see if we're romantically compatible. Like we're just meeting up in places and the relationship develops as the relationship develops. And that's what I need. And unfortunately, right now, I work from home. I do these videos, I do artwork. So, where am I going to meet these people? Like, right now, the only thing that I could possibly see happening is another content creator that I end up connecting with, that we go on each other's shows regularly. That we can build up some sort of relationship that way. But the thing with a lot of these content creators is they're not single, they're not polyamorous, and they live way too far away. So, and yeah, there's other things that go on that, I'm not a huge fan of big age gaps for myself. If other people do it, that's fine for them. I personally don't like it. So it's very difficult, but a neighbor, a friend of a friend that I get to know or something, like it really has to be along those lines. Because, like, I've been watching a lot of Star Trek Next Generation lately. I've talked about this a bunch of times. I've been rewatching uh, TNG because a bunch of years ago somebody got me the box set for a gift. And I loved it, and I've seen every episode many times, but this is the first time that I'm really, after my like political awakening and mature adult eyes, watching it through from beginning to end, so in the proper order and everything. And there are just some things in that I'm just like, like all the times one of the main characters falls in love with some random person after only 2 days, one day. I'm like, that is so unrealistic. Like the idea of love at first sight is like a big no. That's a red flag to me, actually. Like if somebody were just meet me on the spot and fall instantly in love with me, I'm like, okay, we need to part ways now. Like that would be a total red flag for me. I just know. But it's just so interesting to see this romantic idea of you just meet somebody and you click and you want to spend the rest of your lives with each other. And it's like, you don't even know who each other are. Like, not even at all. And you expect one or the other person to give up their entire life, their culture, their race, their human race sometimes, just to be part of a union. So they usually have to find some tragic way of breaking them up, usually through death or duty, in order for them to remain single on the ship or something. And then there's other relationships that I see on there. Is this like a neurotypical thing? Like, I don't get it. Because I'm now at the point in the series where O'Brien and, oh, I know her name. I can't remember her name. I'm so bad with names. Miles O'Brien gets together with his wife. Damn it, I know her name. And I like her much better in Deep Space Nine. But they get together and you see some of their meals shortly after they're married and they talk like they don't even know who each other are. Like when it comes to different food choices and things of that sort. And it's like, was this an arranged marriage that you two just meet? Like, I don't get it. Or the episode where somebody tries to date Data and just seeing his programming try to figure out how to have a relationship. And I'm like, this is so bizarre. Like, is this like, because you could see, like, I love Data. Like, I actually, like, if there was anyone on Star Trek I would date, it'd probably be Data, because he is wonderful, but I would make him delete any program that he purposely makes for any sort of dating because I hate them all. Like, here are the flowers. These are like, these are the steps, the points, the humps that you're supposed to get over in a relationship in order for this relationship to work successful. I'm like, really? Really? This is not, no. But at the same time, I would probably also hate a relationship with him because I would literally just tell him this is exactly what I want and he would do it and there'd be nothing spontaneous. So, yeah, there's no winning. There's no winning. But, you know, T'Pol from Enterprise also. that that isn't, yeah, she was really nice. I didn't like her relationship with, damn it, what's his name? I haven't rewatched Enterprise since it first came out. But I just remember being so disappointed in the last couple of episodes because there's like a 3-year gap in between the last 2 episodes. And in that time, their relationship hadn't developed at all. It was exactly where they had left it off 3 years ago. And it's like, really? Really? You're going to do that? Really? It is just, yeah. Here's me going on rants about this. And it's also, like, I think back to my teen years and growing up and stuff, especially as somebody who presents female and kind of thought of myself as a woman when I was younger and whatnot. And just some of the ways my friends would act when it came to dating. Like, women are so freaking competitive when it comes to their men. It is, I despise it. And the amount of times women see me as a threat to men I have zero interest in boggles my mind. It really just boggles my mind. Like, all these women are like, you can't even be friends with her because I'm like the single variant out there. You know, I'm the one that can steal any husband, even though me getting a date from somebody who's desperate to have a date still doesn't even happen. But I'm just out there to steal every husband, or even having single girlfriends. And they start getting upset with me when we start hanging around different groups of people. And quite often what happens is I make friends with guys a lot faster. But then they see me as trying to date them, and then they see me as trying to steal all the options, you know, get the first crack at them before they do, and how unfair that is. Or also, not with all polyamorous people, but for me in particular, I have a very strong sense of compersion. What compersion is, for those of you who don't know, is the happiness and joy you feel at seeing those you care about happy and joyous. It's basically the opposite of jealousy. And I've always had a strong sense of this. Like, I even remember back in high school, there was a boy I was crushing on, but he ended up with a girlfriend. And my friends are like, oh, you know, that bitch, you should go break them up. You should do this. She's a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. And I would just be looking at them like, he seems happy with her. So I'm glad. You know, like, if she's making him happy, I want him to be happy. And it brings me joy seeing those I care about in happy relationships. And if it's not with me, then that's too bad for me, but I still want them to be happy. And I don't get that. Like, I would never, the idea of wanting to break up a relationship just so that I can have a stab at it or something like that. Like, who's to say that it would even work out between us? And so when I see people I care about and they get into a relationship before I've even, you know, had a chance or anything of that sort, in a way, I want it to work out because I want that person to be happy. So it's really counterproductive to that whole competitive women thing out there when it comes to, you know, trying to find that mate. And it's like, oh no, you gotta break them up. It's like, no, I would never do that. Basically, I would never be in a rom-com. I hate those movies. They are the worst kind of movies ever. They have, poisoned society in a way that I can't understate. Like, it is just, what rom-coms have done is just horrid. At some point, I'll probably even just make my own video essay about it because I despise what they've done. Um, wow, I've been rambling. You see, this is what happens when I'm like super tired and not all aware of what's going on, and I just start rambling. And there's going to be times where it's like I'm not entirely sure if I'm oversharing or not, and I'm just rambling. But I want you guys to be part of this conversation because this isn't just about me. It's about all you guys too. We're a community. I don't want people to be alone today, so it's not like I should just sit here and ramble on and ignore all you guys and make it all about me. Brenda Knoll, if I'm going to meet anyone new, they're going to have to break into my apartment. Okay, so funny story. That didn't happen to me, but this would never fly now. I'm just putting it out there. There's no way this would ever work now. But way back when some dating profiles and different things were new, I was experimenting online with certain things. Let's just put it that way, to see if I could help supplement certain things, and different chat groups and things of that sort. And at the time, I was in a counseling group because I'm not terribly with it all the time, and I was also still very overweight at the time. And I remember in the group, some of them are being like, like, is this safe? Like, aren't you worried that they're going to find out who you are or something? And I just look them all dead in the face and I'm like, look, if some guy from Denver hacks my computer and gets a plane ticket and flies all the way out here just to meet me, I'm going to dinner with him. I can't guarantee anything more, but if somebody is going to put that much effort into meeting me, I'm going to dinner with him. And I say that would never fly now because now that I'm actually a semi-public figure on here and how easy it is to hack systems and all the horridness that comes around with it, yeah, no, don't. That would be an instant block and instant not interested at this point. But way back then, especially with my body image issues, and it's like, if somebody was that desperate to get to know me, I'm kind of wanting to have dinner with them. But again, would never fly now. I'm older, more mature, and the internet is a completely different landscape than what it was. So, yeah, if anyone hacks my system, I'm pressing charges. Let's see. Environmental Coffee House. I can never go on POF. Plenty of fish for those of you who don't know, which was also Canadian made. I know way too many people in this area and have an ex-husband who also knows a lot of people, and mouths would be wagging and it doesn't matter. It would still be gross. Yeah. Plenty of fish. You get what you pay for on that site, and it's a free site. So, like, that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, you should try OkCupid because there's a little bit more, dynamic stuff going on there when it comes to who you are, and there's more flexibility, and there's more queer-orientated folks on there. And I tried it, and it was all just the same noise. Looking at people's different profiles, it's like, okay, well, this person seems interested, and then everything seems so programmed when it comes to, okay, you message, now they message, and then 4 messages in, they're like, oh, can we switch this to texting? And me like, no. Or do we want to meet right now? And I'm not that interested in meeting them right off the bat because then there's all that pressure again about the date and what the date means and where's it going and all that sort of stuff. And none of them were that interesting. And none of them appreciated my sense of humor, because when I get to fill out those questionnaires on there, you're damn straight there's not going to be any staple type response to those questions. Like, one of the questions was, what's something you plan on doing over the pandemic? Because this was just when the lockdown had happened and stuff, and I'm like, oh, now might be a good time to try online dating, because that pressure of meeting would be actually restricted a bit because of all the COVID and stuff. So I decided to go on then. And, so it's like, what are one of the things that you're planning to do during the pandemic? And I fill it out. It's like, finding out how long my facial hair will grow. And it was true. I did do that. And I have like all these sarcastic, snarky answers to all of the things there. And it's kind of like my sense of humor will screen people out. You either get it and you enjoy it, or you don't get it. And then you just sit there and scratch your head like, are you serious? Are you being real with this? Like, wait, what? Huh? But something I find there's an issue with is, so when it comes to just dating, like seeking out a relationship, my preference is for men. However, if I meet people in life in general and there's a person of a different gender and we hit it off, I am very open to having a relationship with them. But I am sexually attracted to men and I seek men. That said, I've had a girlfriend and she was the best relationship I had. Because again, I don't rule out relationships based on gender. It's a preference when I'm seeking. And so ideally I am looking for men when I'm on these dating profiles. The vast majority of men out there don't want what they perceive as a woman to be funnier than them. I'm often funnier than them. Another problem I run into, I like really intelligent people. People smarter than me. As smart or smarter than me. Which means we're getting into autistic territory for a lot of things. They do not understand my sarcasm at all whatsoever. Run into problems with that a lot. Yeah, it is just... but I'd like to find a relationship with a man sometime soon. Get over some hurdles, some intimacy issues I have. And then a good indication that the relationship is going well is like, okay, let's start dating other people. And get myself a girlfriend and all this other fun stuff. But like I don't like... So when I say primary partner, I don't mean it in a hierarchy sense. And I don't like it used in the hierarchy sense. But like when I would like to find a primary partner, as in this is the main person in my life that I'm building a life with, that sort of thing. And I want that person to be a man, but then have other types of relationships, other types of dynamics with other people as well, once that's kind of settled. And yeah, it's hard to this, because here's another problem men have is I don't get jealous. They'd be like, oh, that other woman over there is looking at me like maybe she's interested in me. I'm like, well, if you click, you click. They don't get it, because to them, it's almost a sign that I don't care about them if I'm not getting overly jealous about them talking to another woman. It's just, I'm not set up for relationships with neurotypical people. They have to be neurodivergent, because otherwise they just won't understand me. Let's see. Wow, we just start talking about relationships instead of much in the way of politics. Karen Bass, petty criminally break, enter, and leaving stuff. Yeah, no, they have to be somebody in my life, somebody that I work with, friend circles, volunteer with, somebody that I can get to know over a period of time without the primary focus is seeing if we're compatible dating wise, where it's just we're letting the relationship develop as it is, like see where it goes, that sort of thing. Morbius Dragon, I've been single for over 8 years, 8.5 years. I decided years ago that it's better off that I stay single. I've been single longer than that. And that's the thing. I'd rather stay single than be in a toxic relationship. And so it's kind of a yay nay thing. Like, I very much want to be in a relationship. I haven't been in a serious relationship my entire life. Like, my girlfriend was the most serious relationship I had, and we lasted 1.5 years. And my boyfriends, well, they were just assholes. I'd like to give it a try, an actual relationship. I'd like to see how that goes and where it goes. So, but that said, if my options are being in a relationship that's crappy and toxic or remaining single and lonely, I'll remain single and lonely. I have cats, And then there's the thing, like, everyone will say, oh, well, maybe if you try this or you just forget about it or you do this and that and the other thing. It's like, no, I've been single enough over my life. I have sincerely been through every stage and tried everything, like, sincerely. Times when I'm not thinking about it, times when I'm just letting it happen, times when I am seeking, times when I'm not. I've done it all. And for some reason, it's not working out. I can be a bit difficult. In all fairness, I can be difficult. Emergency remedial truth. Don't bring too many fixed expectations. There is no ideal mate. All humans have quirks. We're a quirky critter. Yes. And I like keeping my mind open to people when I meet them. And again, that's part of the reason why I don't like it when people fall for me too fast, because when they do that, it's almost like they're putting in place hopes or expectations of what they want and what they think I am. And then they just refuse to see anything other than their ideal of this is what they want, and they focus on it. It's, yeah. Like, there are people I've crushed on big time, people I would love to have a try with and get to know. And even if I'm in, love with them, like crushing on them so much that it feels like I'm in love with them, if I meet them, I'm still keeping my mind open, because it's like, I understand. I only see a certain sliver of who they are from whatever it is. Like, until you really spend time with a person one-on-one, with other people, with their friends, with your friends, with different family members, you don't know who that person is. And so I keep my mind open to be disappointed in a way. Like, I don't overlook things that could be issues. And, it's like, okay, let's deal with it. Is it something that can be negotiated? Is it something that can be worked around? Is it something that's a deal breaker? And if it's too many of that case, then I'm not going to fixate on the characteristics I love about this person. It just means we're going to have a different type of relationship that's probably not going to be romantic. And there have been people that, after I got to know them just a little bit, I thought I was in love with them, but then we're just good friends. And I'm okay with that, because now I have some really good friends. And the thought of, like, having anything more with them right now is just like, no, that's so wrong. But there has been an occasion where I've gotten to know people a bit more and fall madly in love with them, but they're not available. So it's, a bit of this and that, but, that's part of the thing when I look at neurotypical relationships and how they're so willing to just ignore red flags. Oh, something that I was actually interested in going over is Ask Aubrey on Twitter, and some of those things where I'm looking at, like, how are these real relationships? Like, are these a thing? We can do that in a little bit. I'll just get caught up in chat, and then we can maybe look at some of those because they're fun. Let's see. Chris Gavin, I also try and catch a trek a day. Yeah, I'm really loving going over the original, not the original, Star Trek Next Generation, and just there's so much that I forgot about or didn't realize at the time. Like so many things. And then there's also these really beautiful things in it that I'm just seeing for the first time or noticing. Like even though this series like started in late 80s, was in the early 90s and stuff, and special effects were much more challenging. And the thing is that the Blu-ray, it's not added effects. It's just enhancement of what's already there. And noticing in the background when you see the ship, you see its shadow on the rings around a planet. Or they're in Picard's ready room. And then you look over and you actually see their reflection in the window. Like all these beautiful little details in there that I'm just seeing for the first time, really, that I absolutely love. And I'm just kind of amazed that they went to that effort to do that even back then. And how much it kind of adds to it. But yeah, there's context to different things that I'm catching on to now, especially watching them in order. Because I was really young when I had originally watched all of them, because they were constantly being repeated on every network and stuff. So I kind of grew up on it, but it wasn't necessarily in order. And so now to just be an adult, have my kind of political awakening and watching them in order has just been so fascinating and interesting. Like the political commentary that was happening then, but then also seeing some social issues back then that we still haven't gotten over, or seeing how the social issues of the day was reflected in some of their storytelling and realizing like that's part of the reason why we've struggled so much. Just, yeah, a whole bunch of fascinating things in it. Let's see. Emergency remedial truth. Go to a local coffee shop, not a chain. People meet there, and it's a neutral place to start a friendship. I once walked into a group that met up there like weekly for French, and I was trying to learn French at the time. And I just randomly walked into it, and I just randomly became part of that group then. Yeah, it is. I do love going to coffee shops too, because I like drinking coffee and cafe mochas and things. Or having a sweet treat to nibble on and stuff, and people watch while you're there. And I've been to coffee shops and seen other groups of people meet up, like knitting groups or board gaming groups and stuff of that sort. So yeah, I love trying all sorts of different coffee shops. Uh, let's see. Morbius Dragon. I would date Crusher or Seven. Well, if you're talking Wesley Crusher when I was younger, yes. Now that I'm older, like almost everyone on Star Trek, Next Generation, now that I'm rewatching it, it's like almost all of them. I'm like, yeah. Oddly, except for like Beverly and Picard, because they give off too much of like a paternal, maternal vibe. Like Beverly in particular gives off a very maternal vibe, and that is a huge no-no to me. Can't, I can't handle like any sort of parental feeling or vibe from a person. And so since Picard was like pretty much my father figure when I was a kid, I can't. No, ew, wrong. Just can't. And any man really that gives off a strong kind of like, parental, paternal thing going on is a turnoff for me. And the same with women. Like if they give off a strong maternal feeling, it's a turnoff for me very much. But like almost everyone else in the cast, I'm looking at like you all have your good traits going on. And even, Picard and Crusher, they still very attractive people. So it's like, yeah. But it's just so funny. I'm looking at Geordi now, like, wow, he was an incel. To some extent, like he just seems so much like, just a different social context, and he'd be an incel. uh, But I'm looking forward to also. I have to find different ways of hopefully rewatching Deep Space Nine and Voyager as well. I really want to rewatch. I really want to rewatch them all. Tyler Hackner, drinking an issue in my family. Yeah, my father was an alcoholic, and I didn't really know him growing up. He lived on the other side of the country. But I was always so afraid to really get into alcohol because of that, because I was worried if I did that I'd be prone to addiction. And then I went and got addicted to caffeine and Diet Coke when I was a teenager. And like, yeah, that's probably a good call that I don't, you know, experiment with alcohol or drugs too much, because I could very easily see myself getting addicted really fast, and I didn't want to do that. Plus, I'm the type of person, I like to keep all my senses working. Like if I'm at a party and something goes wrong, I want to be sober enough to be able to look after myself and the others around me. Um, so like I don't mind if other people drink around me, but I feel really weird and uncomfortable if they get drunk. Because it's one thing, like I have no idea how I'm supposed to interact with them when they're like that. Wow, thank you everyone for coming in. Seeing more people, MIDI doctors, bad lefty. Let's see. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this Monday evening. Sure, still evening. Or Christmas evening, whichever way you want to look at it. So yeah, I wanted to maybe look at the Ask Aubrey thing. Oh, let me know what you would rather do right now. Look at some Ask Aubrey stuff, fun stuff on Twitter, or I can tell you that Majority Report story I was mentioning that I have. That's just it's a fun, cute story of me calling him once. Let me know which one you would rather do first. Oh, ask. There we go. Ask Aubrey. We can do both. It's just what do you want to do first? Let's see. Oh yes, it's already Boxing Day for Mitty. It's Boxing Day Eve here in my part of Canada. Was watching crap TV, saw this. Well, I'm glad I'm more interesting than crap TV. One step above crap TV. Well, I haven't gotten an answer to my question. Not a single person. Ugh. Let's see. Here we go. Bad lefty, MR. Okay, so couple years ago, when I was still semi new regular watcher of Majority Report. So, because it was back in 2020, after my failed attempt at becoming a politician and I wasn't working, that I started to become like a more regular, like every episode watcher of Majority Report and stuff. And I started my channel, and then shortly after I started my channel, I'm trying to get into, so I think this was what, December of 2021. And so the first few times calling into the Majority Report, like I'm still not good calling into the Majority Report. It still freaks me out. Like I have such a hard time with it. But when I first started, so much worse. And what would happen in my head afterwards, like the backlash that would happen, was really horrible. Like, if the people at Majority Report knew how bad my mental health got after I tried to call in, they would have hired an assassin to kill my cell service. Like, it was really bad when I first started. Like, just so nervous and stuff. So I'm nowhere near that now. Like, have a much easier time. It's just, it takes a lot of practice and getting used to it and things of that sort. But when I was still fairly new to calling in, so I'd called in a few times already, but still so anxious and so nervous. And what usually happens is the end of the show comes up and Sam will be like, okay, there's no more last call of the day, and it's not you. But like most people, I would imagine, who call in, you don't hang up at that point because you never know. Because right afterwards, he might say, okay, well, that wasn't the final caller. Now you're the final caller. So you tend to stay on. And the way their phone system works is that when the show's over, it just hangs up on you. And so I don't tend to pay attention to it too much. So I usually just would let it hang up on me and listen to it, through my phone, through speakerphone while the show ended type thing. But one time, I'm listening to the end of the show, and the end of the show happens, and I can still hear them. The phone lines were still live, and I could hear everything they were doing in the office. And it wasn't just me, pretty much everyone else who didn't hang up was hearing what they were saying after the show had ended. And I started freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, what if they say something they don't mean to? Like, I wasn't worried about them saying, oh, here's the Soros check we finally got in. I wasn't worried about that. I was worried that they might say the name of somebody that they didn't want to say, or the email or the phone number or address or some sort of location or identifier of somebody. And I was like freaking out because it's like, well, how do I let them know that this is happening? And like I DM'd Letterhack and I'm like, Letterhack, this is going on. Like, you know more of them. You're connected with more of them than I am. And so to test it out, he called into the phone system like 15 minutes after the show ended, and he was able to get through. So I didn't feel like this was something I could just blast on Twitter because then everyone would call in to listen to what they're saying in the office after hours. And it was just like, what do we do? So he started frantically DMing people. The Majority Report followed me at the time, so I was able to DM them. And I also was connected with Julie, who is Sam's sister. So I'm like frantically DMing her on Twitter. It's like, we can still hear you. If you're on the phone, we can hear you. And trying so desperately to let them know, it's like, don't say anything sensitive. Like, just don't. And then, so I hear them all say goodbye and stuff like that. Like, they were just arranging things for future shows and whatnot. Like, I don't even really remember because I was so freaked out at the time. I don't even really remember what they were talking about. But then there's this eerie quiet and you can hear like papers rustling and stuff. And it's like, Sam stayed behind and was like still looking over notes and working and stuff like that. And still I was worried, like, what if he gets a phone call and says private information about somebody? And I was like so nervous and worried. But, me and the Letterhack had tried so hard to like reach out to them and let them know. But I didn't want to hang up because I wanted to make sure it ended and that he didn't say anything weird. But then all of a sudden I start getting really weird, like, this feels wrong. Like, I feel like I'm eavesdropping on them. Like, it feels so wrong. And I had like this massive confliction working up in me. Like, do I keep on listening? This is kind of creepy. But at the same time, it's like, I want to know that the phone is actually ended and they're okay. And so I'm starting this weird kind of dynamic of like, what the hell do I do? And then a thought entered my mind that just sent me into sheer terror panic. And it's like, what if at some point Sam realizes that the phones are still alive and then picks up on me and says, what the hell? And I'm like, What if he does that? Like, what? Like, I know now I'm confident and cool enough that if something like that were to happen and it's like a half hour after the show ends and he realizes that the phones were live and he picks it up and he's like, what? And I know now what I would do would be like, is this me? So, about that force the vote. Like a half hour after the show ended. But at that time, I was like in sheer panic of like, oh my God, what if he actually picks up while I'm here? Like, how do you explain yourself? How do you justify what you're doing? Just listening into what they're doing in the office. It took them 45 minutes for the phone to actually hang up after the show was done. It's just like, wow. And then the next day, it ran into the same problem, but because of all the messages and stuff, they clued in sooner, so they hung it up. But that's around the same time that they ran into the problem of during the intermission, people were hearing what they were saying. And so they started to clue into that. So you couldn't just be on hold. So they had to actually start picking up the phones, like, because sometimes they would make the phones live before the intermission or during the intermission. But it got to the point where you could hear everything that they were saying behind the scenes during the intermission. So then they started waiting till after intermission before they did that. But I was just like, that was like such a weird experience. Just going through that, and I was just like so terrified at the time. Like I would have died, like just died if he had picked up the phone at that moment. Like I would have like, burned a hole through the couch, died. Just horrible. But that's the cute little story. Uh, and it's like, no, I wasn't creepily listening into your conversations in the office after hours. Uh, let's see what people thought of that. Da-da-da-da-da. We need a nightbot. I've been studying up on coding for it, says Soul Life. I've been thinking about it. Bad lefty, Sandy, rather than your failed attempt at becoming a politician, I think we should call it your first attempt at becoming a politician. Just a thought. I'm not going to be able to be a politician. That, kind of the way the party politics and stuff work up here, I will never be allowed to be a candidate for the NDP. That is set in stone at this point. They will never accept me. And there's no other party I'd really want to run for. Maybe the Green Party, but given my history on YouTube now, unlikely I'd get approval because you have to be approved to run as a candidate for a party. That or do it independent. If you do it independent, you're not going to win and you spend so much of your own money that I don't have to spend in order to do that. So, like, unless I become rich somehow, there's no way I can actually run to be a politician. MIDI doctors, I hate the idea of politician. I like the idea of being in charge. Yeah, I really had my heart set on being a politician. Like, it was really something I kind of felt was my calling in a way. Um, and I knew going into it, like the likelihood of me making it the full 4 years for my term was slim because I wasn't about to kowtow to party lines if there was something I passionately disagreed with. Mm. Lefty. Fair enough, Sandy, but never say never. Eh, I'd have to win the lottery. Hello to everyone else who has joined the chat. But I don't know, what do people think of my little Majority Report story that I just told and embarrassed myself with? I'd actually be interested to know what they thought of it after the fact, because Letterhack, like, knew Matt Binder, and Matt Leck was connected with them on Twitter a little bit, and he said apparently they just kind of laughed at it, thinking like, oh yeah, I guess they heard the conspiracy of who we're getting for the next interview or something. Because luckily nothing sensitive was said during that time, but still, it was really weird, and I felt really weird about it. Lynn Running Deer, form your own party, or is that not allowed? You can absolutely form your own party, but you need a lot of money to do that. It's like, you need a lot of money and resources, because you need to then find a candidate for every riding. There's certain standards you have to meet. There's, a certain amount of money you have to have in the bank in order to even register, and it's a monumental task to do that. Like, the most I could do without a party would be to run municipally, because on the municipal level there aren't parties. Everyone runs as an independent type thing, but everyone has their own political leanings, and some of them have usually been involved with party politics of some form or another. But again, it's something that you need to have a lot of independent wealth to begin with, because there's a lot of money that will come out of your pocket, a lot of resources and stuff. And if you're busy with a job or things of that sort, and you don't have the time to campaign, then it's very, very difficult to even run municipally for a party if you live in a bigger city. Like, if you live in a small town and there's nobody running for a certain spot, then you can run for it easy and be acclaimed into certain positions. But I don't live in a small town. I live in a larger city. So, there's usually multiple candidates per position. But that's something people in Canada really need to pay attention to, is that sometimes after a municipal election, there are positions that go unfilled because nobody ran for them. And so those are like, if you instantly want to get into politics, that's what you got to do, is just look for one that nobody else went to. And at the last moment that you can register to be that candidate, sign up for it, and then you're acclaimed into that position pretty much. Let's see. Sam has an amazing smile. It's something, and he does it very similarly. Like, there was something I was able to do one time, because I did the original portrait that kind of got me back into my art. No, what was it? Okay, so the first portrait I did that made me rediscover my talent for art was of Sam, because of Letterhat's request to draw a lefty content creator instead of him doing it for his birthday. And so then I kind of wanted to do another thing that's similar. So then the next year I decided to do like a pencil crayon drawing, like in color. It doesn't look great. Like, it's still good, but I like the apple in it. I had him holding up an apple, and that's good. But the actual his portrait part of him, not that great. And I'm also using crap pencil crayons, so that doesn't help. So I had some reference photos for that. But then when I went to the Boston live show, I wanted to give him a pencil portrait. So I had some reference photos for that. And then later on, when I was tidying them up, I came across one from the previous year versus one from the current year. So one without a beard, one with a beard. And I'm looking at it like, he has a perfect smile. And then I'm kind of like, no, like, you really... And I actually held them up to the light, and it was like spot on, dead exact same. And so with that, what I did is, because can actually go to my YouTube page for that. And I can show it off. Let's see. So then kind of like for his birthday type thing, I merged them so it's like, here's Sam Cedar aging 1 year type thing. Let's see. And I put some music to it and stuff for some fun. That I kind of put together samplings of different stuff. But so you get to see Sam Cedar age 1 year. Here it is.
Sandy from Left of the Box. Wow, that is amazing. I strained something. I'm hurt. I'm definitely hurt. I think I'm going to have to lie down. Sandy from Left of the Box. Thank you so much. Incidentally, I'm not a boomer. Sandy?
Like that actually did not take that much Photoshop to merge those two pictures together like that. And then in my video editing program, I just kind of blended them so that they would fade in and out. But I didn't have to actually do that much work in Photoshop to get them to align perfectly. And I know enough about Photoshop, so it's like I Photoshopped out like the outfit and stuff. But even where the mic was almost spot on the dead same location, which just made that so much easier. Let's see. I can draw. Yeah. One thing that I've been liking doing though, and it's something that I'm basically like incorporating now. So when somebody buys a portrait, they get this with it because it's just like a good way of me advertising my art. So like if we go to this one here, make sure there's no sound. And you get to see it like fade in and out of life type thing. Because again, I do photography, so I set it up on an easel and I take progress photos as I'm doing it and then blend them together in the photo editing program. I was really hoping that these would take off more than they have because they're so short and they're very interesting and it would really help advertise my art business. But yeah, it just shows people like the process I go through when I'm doing this. And so anyone who gets a portrait done by me gets this included with it. Because, like, I like doing it too, because I just find them fascinating too, to see the steps that I've gone through in order to do these drawings. That's my nephew's dog. The only portrait I've been paid to do by my mom. My mom paid me for this. Still looking to get some business done. If anyone knows anyone who wants a portrait, they get one of these with it at no extra charge. The problem is I'm trying to find like decent background music that's not copywritten that I can throw in the background of these. Like with this one, it's a very similar soundtrack to what I had for his other one. It's from the AM Quickie, the music from the AM Quickie, and then I just put snippets of conversation and stuff over top of it in order to get the ums and the ers and stuff. But I had to, because in the AM Quickie back when it was audio, there wasn't really long segments of the music track that they had. So I had to like find bars of music and put them together in different places and stuff to extend it to be the full like 30 seconds or so that it was. And then this one's a bit longer, so I had to extend it that way. But that's where that music is from, if anyone found it familiar, is from the AM Quickie. And then my most recent one was this one, Tulip. My memorial for her. I still need to get this one digitized and stuff so I have it for my records. And it's a large drawing too. And then when I was taking photographs of it, I didn't realize at the time that I needed to have the camera out more because part of this was cut off. So at some point you see this extend over to the edge. And this one took like 33 hours to draw. It took me quite some time. But needless to say, it looks like her. Like, it doesn't just look like a cat, it looks like Tulip. It has her personality, her vibe, her energy right in it. And suddenly her magical whiskers appear. Abraham asking, are you a fan of Peter Draws or John Vascu? I don't know. There's a couple of YouTubers and stuff that I've seen, like their artwork on, that was really impressive. So maybe I've seen their work? I don't know. But the one thing that I liked about this was, you know, like I got her done, but like the texture of the cushion she's sitting on, the texture of the couch and stuff. I wasn't really referencing the photo so much for that. I was just kind of experimenting, and that was really nice to have that part of the art where I'm just experimenting with it and not necessarily relying on a reference photo to do it. But her name was Tulip, so you have the tulip in the background and everything. So, yeah. Let's see. How is everyone doing in the chat? WYCD Foxy Dragon almost looks like I could reach out and touch her. Yeah. It's quite the thing to see these drawings. Like, I'm blown away by them. Like, I surprise myself every time I do one of these drawings. And yeah, sometimes it's almost like you can feel them. Like the one that I did, my nephew's dog, and the way it is. And like, of all the pets that I've done for people so far, there is something about it where it's like, it's not just a cat, it's not just a dog, it is their dog, it is that particular dog, it is that particular cat. Like, the energy of them is almost on them. And even of the portraits I've done of people, it's almost like an echo of who they are is actually right on the drawing. And it, like, it's a weird feeling, but they almost feel slightly alive. And I have no idea how I do that. And I'm not the only person to say that. Like, the portraits I did of Michael Brooks, like the one in particular is just, you feel him with it. It is really, discovering this talent was life-changing. Like, I just blew me away. And that's why in January, I'm probably just going to take a couple weeks off where I just want to draw. I just want to focus on that and nothing else. Like, I'm not taking that time off now because, like I said, a lot of our regular programming is already being taken off now. And I know some people get lonely this time of year and miss a lot of their regular stuff. So I wanted to have something familiar on for people who, you know, are maybe a little bit lonely. But I don't really have like much planned today because I didn't want to get heavy into politics because there were horrible stories in the news today. But it's like I didn't want to go there for that today. Looney Tunes 9000. Hello everyone. I have family over still. I'll be with y'all shortly. Take your time. Enjoy being with your family if that's something you can enjoy doing. Well, here. This was something else I was kind of thinking of going over. So Ask Aubrey. I follow a lot of this stuff and I don't understand. Is this what humans are like at times? So I haven't read this one. Let's see what it says. Husband has ruined my Christmas. My husband, 35 male, and I, a 35 female, have been married for 4 years and have 2 children. Who cares about their age? This is the first Christmas where my toddler understands a lot more about what's going on, and we've been talking about Santa, decorating the tree, wrapping family gifts together, etc. My husband has been talking a lot about building a family traditions for the kids, which I thought was lovely. My family has a German background, so we opened up the gifts from family on Christmas Eve together with my parents and brother. I had a rough night with the baby, so slept a little longer than usual this morning, Christmas morning, but not unreasonably. I thought I woke up at 7:45. The toddler had woken at 6 a.m. and my husband had gotten up to him. I got up to discover my husband had opened up the presents from Santa with my toddler already, which has left me devastated. I feel so excluded and robbed of seeing the joy of my child's face opening up the gifts I had picked out for him. He didn't wait until I woke up or wake me up if the toddler couldn't wait. My husband commented that it was a lovely father-son moment, which drove the knife further and further. Clearly, I'm an afterthought when he thinks of the family. I've been holding back tears all day for the sake of the toddler. Yeah. That was a dick move. Dick move. See, sometimes I'm like, well, that was wrong of the husband to do that. And we got Frodo. Frodo. Hey. Is he going to come up? Is he going to come up? Let's go to main shot just in case. Are you going to come up? Got Frodo. He's right here. Nope. He knows what I want to do. He doesn't like it when I grab him and throw him in front of the camera, and he knows that I'm trying to do that. As a grown adult woman, why don't you wear makeup? Women who don't wear makeup, I think, are lesbians. And as Aubrey says, lesbians wear makeup, though. Yeah, that's been known to happen. Like, a lot of these I have to wonder, are these even real? I don't think they're real. Why don't feminists just stick to dating male feminists? Why do feminists not strictly date male feminists or guys who don't embody any of the toxic masculine traits they claim to hate so much? Instead, they continue to sleep and date conservative or traditionally masculine men who don't identify as feminists, then do nothing but complain about it. Can anyone explain this phenomenon? And she states with it, how often does politically independent not sure come up on dating profiles on dudes who are raging MAGAs? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people hide their politics for reasons. That's the other thing I don't like about dating profiles and stuff is like, this is a really horrible trait of mine that I know is socially not acceptable for whatever reason. So I'm just not going to acknowledge I have it right off the bat. and then get upset when people find out and don't like me because of it. Women's standards these days. I'm just unemployed and keen to immorse? LOL, I get that. Give me a chance to miss you. I mean, I've brought you flowers and shown you the outline of... Oh. What more can I do? What more does a woman need? Space. A lot of space, yeah. That's a bit... Flowers and the outline of his thing. Yeah, that's, bit forward. A little bit forward. And some of the trad wife women or trad wife's wannabes, like, women, you don't need to college. You need a faith, a Bible, and a good cookbook. Here's the thing with me. It doesn't matter how good that cookbook is. I still ain't cooking. I am horrible at it. I am horrible at it. I don't know. I find this very interesting. And part of me has to wonder, like, part of me just wishes most of this is fake. Like, this can't be real. Like, what these men say, what relationships says, or like the controversies over weddings, like the mother-in-law wanted this and the father-in-law did that. And I just like, how is this real? Like, I can't imagine any of this being real for a lot of the stuff, but occasionally I talk to a neurotypical person and realize, yeah, it is. It's part of the reasons why I just don't get weddings. Let's see. I don't think it will be a problem if I show off my favorite comedian on YouTube. Because I got another, not really a strike, but a thing where they're like, your 2.5, almost 3 hour long video has been demonetized because of a clip that's less than a minute long of something that I was still transforming. And so I just... But I see like reaction videos to his stuff, so I think this should be okay. Let's see. There's this one is short and I really like it. So Ryan George, like I absolutely love him, and he's Canadian, which just makes him 1,000 times better. Go check out his YouTube channel. It's not like he needs my help to boost. Like, he gets millions of views on his stuff. Let's go to...
Hey, December, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, sure. Wow, everyone's here today, huh? Look at that. Even May is here. Wow.
Yeah.
What is this?
Listen, so we all just kind of wanted to have a civil discussion with you about how
You're hogging all the stuff, December.
Okay, that's...
What?
It's just, I feel like a lot of the other months feel kind of left out, you know, just in terms of general excitement and activities.
People start every single year exhausted. You're setting us all up for failure.
What? I'm not hogging anything. I got like Christmas. That's about it.
Okay, you're gonna pretend that's not like a 1.5 month long thing? Like that's not all anyone's thinking about?
You got a whole genre of movies, you got decorations, it's a lot.
You have Christmas Eve. Why is that a thing? You don't see March doing St. Patrick's Day Eve. It's overkill.
Look, I can't
Apparently we have Boxing Day Eve now.
help it if people like Christmas so much they want to celebrate the day before too, you know?
I mean, you also get all of Hanukkah.
You get all of Hanukkah.
No,
Sometimes I let November in on that.
Yeah, a little.
See, I share. November has my back.
Well, actually, November had something he wanted to talk about too.
No, he doesn't. November and I are close.
Yeah, no, it's nothing.
Go ahead, November. Go. Don't be shy.
It's just, I mean, the turkey dinner.
Oh, come on.
Why-
And I find this funny because they have to bring something up because, again, he's Canadian, so he knows Canadians have Thanksgiving in October, not November.
You also need to have a turkey dinner on Christmas. Can't that be November's thing? I'm just saying, maybe you could do like a Christmas soup or something. Maybe that could be the main meal. A Christmas soup! You sound insane. Maybe a Christmas pad thai, you know, perhaps a lasagna. That doesn't make it... Look, October has a turkey thing too in Canada. He's not getting any crap about it. Well, I mean, everyone's kind of scared of October, but I feel like that's a discussion for another day. Death. Ugh. You also have New Year's Eve. Like, New Year's is supposed to be January's thing. Why are you getting involved in that? What are you... January has New Year's Day. That's the main one. I mean, the thing is, that sounds nice on paper, but that's the day everybody's hungover. Yeah, everyone gives up on their dreams and goals like 5 days later. January 1st is the deadliest day of the year. That also, I guess. I think you guys need to take a little more pride in your work. I mean, April, you have Easter, right? Yeah, sometimes I let March have that. We gotta share that one. Look, whatever. My point is, it's not my fault you guys suck at branding, okay? Maybe if you guys got your Easter act together a little better, you could be as big as Christmas. Who knows? What? Yeah, what are you talking about? I mean, are we doing chocolate or resurrection here? You know, pick a lane. Now there's a rabbit here. What's the rabbit doing here? People like the rabbit. I mean, the rabbit is weird. Am I crazy here? June, July, back me up here. What? Oh, no, we're good with whatever you guys decide. Yeah, no, we're just generally chill with whatever. Just rethink your things a little bit and people will like you more. Like, May, what do you got going on? I don't know, I got some plants, you know, people call their moms. See, that's soup, that's weak. Why is that my fault? It is helpful to commit to a thing. Ah, see, February knows what I'm talking about. Thank you. You got it. Oh, no. Look, we're just asking that you share the spotlight a little, or maybe just tone it down a little. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. I'm the climax of the year, baby. Don't say climax. You could say climax. Guys, the feeling I'm getting from this little ambush of yours is that this is a cry for attention. March, is that why you started that pandemic in 2020 there, buddy? You want some attention? What? No, I declared it. It started on your time in 2019. Oh, yeah, that was me, wasn't it? Sorry, guys, forgot about that. Ugh, you're exhausting.
MIDI doctors, why do Canadians have turkey in November? Because we have American relatives. Our Thanksgiving is in October, so that's when we have our turkey dinner. So at least our turkey dinners are separated by like 2 months almost, a month and a half, because it's near the beginning of October that we have our Thanksgiving. But then a lot of people have American relatives and friends or something, so they might have a second Thanksgiving in November with them. MIDI doctors, is Canadian Thanksgiving the same story? Yeah, it's the same thing, just a different month. It's all and the same controversies around it and everything, except Christopher Columbus was never the person to have discovered Canada. So we don't worship him here. And of course, he didn't discover land. It was already inhabited, so you can't discover something that wasn't not discovered. Yeah, same controversies, same issues. Lynn, running deer people in the country of Georgia celebrate Christmas in some other month. I don't remember the month, though. It could be Orthodox Christians. They celebrate it at a different time, usually January, end of January, I believe it is. Something like that. Or like Ukrainians, maybe it's Ukrainians. It's, yeah, something like that. Let's see. Don't need that one. I don't remember this one. Let's watch this one.
What's up, guys? Today we're playing the Canadian Winter VR game. I don't know a ton about it, but it's supposed to be pretty realistic. I'm guessing hockey, maybe some skiing. Let's check it out. Okay, so character creation screen. This is my guy, I guess. Just trying to see if there's a way he can not be holding Tim Hortons. No. Okay, here we go. Looks like I need to shovel first. That makes sense. Okay, kind of a lot of shoveling. Why is this brown? All right. I don't even, what am I shoveling right now? Oh, these are stairs. Oh my, that is dangerous. Why do I still have to shovel? Okay, I unlock this brush. I guess I gotta clean my car. This game sucks. Okay, I mean, oh, that's not my car. That's not my car. Loading awkward conversation with neighbor.
Hi there, hello.
Hi.
Pretty big
I actually don't think I've seen this one, and I've seen almost everything on his channel.
snowfall last night, huh? Look at that.
Yeah, you know, quite a bit of snow. Okay, so that was not a fun game at all. I mean, maybe it would be fun eventually after you shovel for 2 hours. Gonna go ahead and try Canadian Summer VR, see what that's about. Oh, okay, yeah, this is more my vibe. That's not, oh, it's over. It's done. Okay, that was a very short game. No, why is winter starting again? No.
But yeah, I got his poster for this year, and they sent me the one from last year, so I'm not happy about that. Yeah, Lynn Running Deer. Here's a fun fact. Christopher Columbus actually landed in South America. We weren't founded. We were invaded. Yeah, it's... The whole idea of what history was taught to us when we were kids is just so wrong in so many ways. It is the reality of the situation. And yet so many people are afraid of accurate history being taught because it erases their history. And it's like, no, we're talking about accurate history. Like, can we just teach what actually happened versus, you know, this idealized version of what you wanted to happen? Or just, yeah, it's... let's see. MIDI doctors, imagine if they taught it for real. Yeah, I would love that. I would love to actually know what the real history was. Bad lefty, back trying to catch up, but that husband is a bastard. How dare he do that whole unwrapping prezzies with a wife? Such a dick move. Yeah, that would be like, I can't believe these people are real. Like, I just don't get it when I see these things from them.
Hi there, hello, thanks for meeting me out here. Yeah, sure, I mean, can we go inside? Maybe it's really cold out here. No, we can't, that's not even possible. It is possible, though, it is. Not for this new activity I invented, it's not. What are you talking about? So here's the idea, right? You and me, we're gonna make a person we were working on. Sure. So what's some relatable stuff you do in the winter? You listen to sleigh bells. Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? Love it. You build a snowman. You build a snowman. You do that. That's good. That's good. Maybe in a meadow. In the meadow, we can build a snowman. I love that. Absolutely. Yeah, we are on a roll, guys. Yeah. Then you pretend he's Parson Brown. What? What was that? The snowman, right?
I'd actually love to see his take on, like, different songs I remember from a teenager, but when you actually re-listen to the lyrics, it's like, oh my god, that song was horrible. Just horrible in some of the things that they were saying. I'd actually love to see some of his takes on that, but it's almost like it's too outrageous. Some of the stuff that I remember in songs from a teenager, yeah.
You pretend he's Parson Brown. Who is that? Yeah, who's Parson Brown? Just Parson Brown. Parson Brown. Is this someone you know personally? Yeah, this is supposed to be relatable. We can't include lyrics about some guy you know. No, Parson Brown's not a real person. It's like a generic name. Oh, okay. Of a priest in the Church of England. What? Yeah, this guy's like an Anglican or Protestant minister. Guy doesn't exist, though. He's made up. So you pretend like the snowman is a non-existent minister? You pretend like the snowman's a non-existent minister. That's right. Nobody's ever done that with a snowman. Okay, do we have any other ideas on the table, maybe? Maybe something more relatable, maybe something about decorating the snowman. Then the priest starts asking you and your girlfriend some questions. Okay. What are you talking about? Parson Brown, he starts asking about your love life. How serious is it? Stuff like that. This isn't a thing. He says, are you married? You say, no, man. You tell this guy no, and this is something that all couples do with snowmen. When people build a snowman, it usually just ends with them being like, hey, look at the snowman we built. Yeah, and then they go home or something. Imaginary religious leaders rarely come into play, if ever. I'm just trying to make this song relatable to everybody. It's not, I feel like this is the opposite of that. And after you tell the priest you're not married, you tell him he can do the job when he's in town. That'll be the next lyric. So you're pretending the snowman is a priest named Parson Brown who's not even physically there? Yeah, what do you mean when he's in town? You said you're pretending the snowman is Parson Brown. Later in the song, we could pretend the snowman's a clown. A clown. From the circus. We could pretend he's a circus clown. What circus? That has nothing to do with Christmas. Listen, fellas, we can always run these ideas by my father, see what he thinks. Okay. You're lucky your dad's the CEO of this vague company that writes all Christmas music for some reason. Yeah, what is our business model? I think people are gonna like it. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Okay, let's shift our focus to a different song. Let's try to do something relatable this time. Okay, so how about a song where a woman really wants to leave a man's house, but he's not letting her? Yeah, that sounds great to me. I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I love his humor too because it's actually, he has very progressive commentary in a lot of his humor, like talking about the COVID and things of that sort. And he has this other wonderful sketch where he's a newscaster from the 90s sent to the future to report back, and just the contrast between the 90s and him in the current years, just saying, please take me back and stuff, going over some of the horrors that is yet to be. And it's so much fun. He also does pitch meetings. They used to be on Screen Rant. You can still find most of them on Screen Rant. But then Pitch Meetings got moved to its own YouTube channel. And yeah, he is so funny. I love him so much. Lynn Running Deer, if you were talking about the song, about a woman who really wants to leave or something, that's the one about, the one that Bill Cosby is famous for singing, which just makes it so much more creepy. I forget, what is it called? But something where the man is basically trying to convince her to stay in and stuff like that. And when you really think of the lyrics of the song, it's like, so that's horrible. That's horrible. I forget what it's called. Baby, It's Cold Outside. Yeah. Oh, Bing Crosby? I thought Bill Crosby sang one as well. But yeah, Baby, It's Cold Outside. When you think of the lyrics of that one, it's super sketchy. And it's like, somehow that's a Christmas song. But yeah, check out Ryan George if you just want to laugh. There's one about like the first person to ever get a pet cat. And yeah, just so much fun stuff on his channel. So I didn't really have much else planned today. Let's see, I've been at this for how long? How long have I been streaming? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, well, over 2 hours already, so it's pretty good. Bad Lefty, that's not my car. Yeah. The joys of Canadian winter. And I love that since he's Canadian, he does a lot of what I was doing when I was making Rebel HQ videos and just making references about Canada and stuff that really only Canadians would get, to kind of show your credibility in a way, your cred. So I would throw in references and jokes that would just go over Americans' heads, but the Canadians would be like, I gotcha, I understand. Yeah, so I don't know. Is there anything people were curious about? We can make this into like a ask me anything thing, because I'm still super tired because of not sleeping last night because of the plumbing issues in my bathroom. Looney Tunes 9000. Let it snow. Lynn Running Deer. Absolutely not. Keep it in Canada where it belongs. We don't have it anymore. It's like above zero, like well above zero right now. At the end of December, we're almost going to hit double digits. Like, that's the thing people don't realize. Like, some people are like, oh, this is just so great. It's +9 at the end of December. You know, oh, no snow and stuff. But we're 10 degrees or more above average. Like, this is a heat wave. But people don't think of it as a heat wave because it's still cold out. But if this was happening in the summer where it's like regular 30 degrees and it was now like +40 degrees, then that's a heat wave. And people aren't cluing into the fact that we're having a heat wave at the end of December. It's just not hot. It's hot compared to what it should be. Like, there were buds on a tree, and that's not healthy for the trees to go through their hibernation and bud halfway through. And, you know, there was a grass fire in Alberta a couple weeks ago that I covered on my live stream. Like, this is not good. And so many people still saying, oh, it's so good to not have winter or to not have the snow and stuff. And it's like, do you like groundwater? Do you like having so much fresh water up here in Canada? Guess where a lot of that fresh water comes from? The spring melts. The glaciers and stuff that aren't being built up anymore because of all the warming and stuff. It's yeah, to think that we could lose winter in one generation. Because I remember winters when I was a kid. We used to have real seasons, you know? There was a summer, fall, winter, spring. They were very distinct seasons, and they had a different feel about them, and they were all, to me, the right length of time, at least in where I live in Canada, because they were all pretty much the same. And they used to be predictable and all that sort of stuff, but like yesterday on my live stream, I was talking about a tornado that just hit part of Tennessee. This isn't tornado season. There shouldn't be tornadoes in December in the States. Like, what is happening? And it's just, yeah, truly bizarre. But like in my area, we've only had a couple dustings of snow, but not really a lot of snow. And I love snow. I love winter. Like, I feel bad because I love something that brings so much pain to so many other people. And I mean that in the sense of like all the unhoused folks and stuff and what they have to deal with, because winters in Canada, if you're unhoused, it's, again, I brought it up yesterday in a live stream. You can watch that there because I don't want to mention it here because of how horrifying it is that it's allowed to happen here in a country as wealthy as this one. But hey, if anybody has any questions that as I say, you can ask me anything and I will provide an answer. How accurate that answer is. Or sometimes the answer is none of your business. That's usually how it is. It's still a very valid answer as far as I'm concerned. But since I'm kind of pausing while I'm trying to figure out what to do next, I'll just do this. Still have about $600 to go on Frodo's vet bills, not including the not-for-profit vet that I've had to take all 3 of them to recently. Or, well, Lanier and Frodo are going on Wednesday. Abernathy went last week. So any money that you can help towards Frodo's vet bills would be greatly appreciated. The fact that he's eating at least this one type of cat food, I just makes me happy. Like, just he's eating something, anything at this point, which is good. Because, yeah, I'm so not ready to lose him. It's not his time. I don't know what I'd do without him right now. He's been in my life for 15, 16 years now. And he was just getting to a spot where he is like playing with Lanier, and it's just so cute watching him play with Lanier because he's so much bigger than Lanier. Even though Lanier has grown quite a bit since I got him, but Frodo is a big cat. He's almost 3 feet long from nose to tip of tail. Yeah, BKK, he's eating like the most significant amount I've seen in the past few months from a food I got at the vet, but it's not a food he can stay on. The food is called recovery, and it's specifically for them after they're sick or surgery or something to help them get back up to energy. And for one of the small cans of it, it's over $5 per can. So I can't keep him on it. So when I take him into the vet on Wednesday, I'll ask if she knows of another cat food that's very similar to that one at maybe a lot less of that cost. I am sleepy. Yes, tornadoes are very dangerous. Looney Tunes 9000. Natural disasters. Special interest of mine. At one time, I could tell you everything about a tornado you would ever want to know. I haven't studied up too much on the more recent developments or refresh my brain, but it wouldn't take me long to get caught up on everything like the F scale and all that sort of stuff. And what the wind speeds are per F scale and all that. And some of the biggest tornadoes to have hit and all of that. And then there's the natural disaster slasher flicks, which are always really fun. There was one tornado one just so laughably unrealistic. Not Twister. Twister was also laughably unrealistic, but in a different way. There was another one that came out. Darn it, what's it called? It was just so funny how unrealistic it is. But they weren't trying to be realistic. Natural disaster slasher flicks. Love those movies. Love seeing the special effects of the world being blown apart in different ways. That's actually what hit up my channel. The live stream yesterday was I showed the IDMB page of a movie called The Divide, because we were talking about bunkers and stuff like that. And this movie was about that. Really intense movie if you wanted to see something like that. And because I showed part of the on the IMDb page or whatever, it shows part of the trailer, and because I showed part of the trailer, it demonetized the entire thing, so I had to clip that part out, which is just ridiculous. Like, I don't know how other channels seem to get away with it so much, like covering different news things or clips of TV shows and stuff like that. Because from what I seem, they're so sensitive as to like, oh no, if you show any like less than a minute, because it was less than a minute, we're going to demonetize your 2.5 hour long movie. Morbius Dragon, it was not Sharknado. That's another one that's laughably unrealistic. Ah, man. Okay, it's bugging me. I have to look it up. Into the Storm is what it's called. And I don't even want to go to its page because now they automatically play the movie trailers, which apparently can get me in trouble. So I've paused it. I'm going to put it on screen for like 3 seconds. So, freeze it there if you want to get the information so you can watch this later. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There. Laughably unrealistic movie. But it's great to watch in a group because of that. Oh, for those of you who haven't seen my shirt, this is one of my Christmas shirts that I really like. I am having a meltdown with a little snowman on it. Lynn Running Deer, tsunamis are the way of cleaning out the ocean. Volcanoes are building new land. Earthquakes are to make you get the freak away from there. They're all connected, actually, all of those related to tectonic activity. Because, you know, when you watch a movie like San Andreas and you see the tsunami they have in that, it's so unrealistic because, first of all, we're talking about, you know, a slip fault. Fault, you know, the San Andreas, it's a fault line that goes like this. It rubs up beside each other. So even if that happens underwater, do you know what it doesn't cause? It doesn't cause a tsunami, because tsunamis are caused by a subduction when the tectonic plates, one is going under the other, and then the pressure builds up and all of a sudden snaps up. And that's where you get your tsunamis underwater, because then it snaps up and it's the whole layer of ocean suddenly gets shoved up and out. And so that's why when you're in deep water, you don't really notice it, because it could just be a little ripple, nothing really indistinguishable from other waves. But it's the whole column, it's the whole like height of the ocean in that part where it went snap like that. And so then as it's coming into the land, you see the land starts going up like that. And so what it does is it forces it to slow down, but only part of it gets slowed down. So think of it like you have, let's say, 100 men in a square running, and they're all running at the exact same speed, but then they hit a slope. And so the ones that are on the slope, suddenly they're not running as fast, but the ones behind them are still running as fast as they were, and they start pushing up to the point that they're pushing people over on top. And so then those people that are pushed over on top then fall underneath, and you get this kind of rolling motion. And so what happens is, now imagine that there's like a carpet on this ramp, and then that carpet then would get caught up in that rolling motion and actually be pulled away from the incline. And so then that's when you see the water that's close to the coast being brought out, is because of this rolling motion that happens because of the wave that's coming in, because it's basically the water behind is pushing up over and falling in front and causing that turbulence. And so then that's why you get the big hump too, that as it approaches the shore, and you can see that. And then once it crests, you're really SOL. Information dump. But then you see the tsunami that was in San Andreas, and it's just so unrealistic, because you wouldn't get one that high from that type of earthquake, because especially the slip fault type earthquake, you're not going to get a tsunami from that unless it causes an underwater landslide, because then that has the potential of causing problem. But then you see this tsunami and it crashes onto San Andreas, or San Diego. Was it San Diego in the movie? Yeah, San Diego. And it crashed, no, San Francisco. It landed in San Francisco. And you see the wave, and it comes. And it's like, oh no, the wave is coming. We're all going to die. So then they hold on to some things, because of course everyone has the strength to like hold on to a pillar while the force of the ocean is pushing you away. It's totally possible to do that. But then the thing is that once the main part of the wave is over, it's like still water. You can swim around in it, and it's pretty clear, and you can do, like, no, you can't do that in a real tsunami. Real tsunamis do not work like that. That's like my biggest pet peeves about movie tsunamis, is just how unrealistic they are, because you have the ones where the wave comes in and it's just like the water raises, the level raises, but then as soon as the initial push of the wave goes through and the destruction, it's like still water in the movies that you can do things in and whatnot, and it doesn't recede or anything. It stays exactly that height. Or there's the other type of magical tsunami that happens, where it just kind of crashes on land, goes in land, and dissipates into nothing. Those aren't realistic. Information dump. But I love watching those movies. They're so much fun to watch. There's one that I really love that is so stupid and unrealistic. Geostorm. Because weather satellites in that movie actually cause tsunamis. Gotta love how that works. Hey, I am not dunking on San Andreas. I love that movie. I love it. Absolutely. Love how unrealistic it is. And I love every aspect of watching the buildings tumble and fall over. Because, of course, when you have a mega skyscraper like this, when it falls, it goes like that. No, it doesn't. Because imagine it's like a big stack of cards. Like basically it starts to fall, but then it falls kind of like in layers and stuff because the immense weight of it. It doesn't go timber. Only certain structures will go timber, but they tend to be a lot smaller and a lot less heavy. But when you have such massive structures, they just tend to collapse and slide collapse. So I've watched a lot of documentaries about that type of architecture too, to survive the earthquakes and stuff. So I know this. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and one of the biggest tsunamis ever that's on record or that we can actually identify happened like, was it BC or Alaska? One of those two areas up in the Cascadia Mountains, and it wasn't caused by an earthquake. Oh no, it was caused by a massive landslide coming off of a mountain. But then it was just like the perfect mix of being in one of the water inlet things. And so then this massive amount of mountain smashed into the water, which caused this massive wave to just shoot right up and be like half a kilometer high. And there's evidence of this on the shores of the trees being stripped away, and apparently a couple people were actually caught in it and survived, and some others didn't, because that's, could you imagine a wave approaching you that's half a kilometer high? Like that's just like, wow. But those, it's the impact tsunamis that are the biggest tsunamis. Am I boring people with this? Because when you look at what happened with the Japanese tsunami, like in some of the areas, it got really high, like up to 80 feet and things of that sort. And it's more about the geometry of where the wave was coming in, because if it goes into a bay, all that water just kind of then gets funneled up and pushed up type thing. And so, you know, in some areas it was only 30 feet, but then in other areas nearby it was 80 feet. And that's all because of where the water was trying to squish into. Anyway, I'm probably talking way too much about tsunamis right now. That's what you get for saying something that was my special interest while I'm tired. Thank you, Looney Tunes. I'm glad you like my Christmas shirt. Lynn Running Deer, our stupid 45th president wanted to nuke a hurricane. Yes, oh my god. That would, yeah. It would have been just, people don't actually understand too just the absolute amount of force and power that are in these natural disasters and how minuscule our things are compared to it. Like the amount of energy and power it takes for a chunk of land under like the tectonic plates to actually be able to go like this and push up that much water. Like, do people realize how heavy that is? Like how much pressure is on that plate, and for it to spike up with all like the amount of energy these things use and do. And then it's like, here's a little nuke, boop, in a hurricane. Like, you know, it's But one of the things that I love watching about these natural disaster flicks is then just kind of going over in my head, yeah, it would never happen like that. It would never happen. But I just suspend my disbelief and just enjoy the movie. Like the movie 2012. Oh my God. I love it. Just the level of destruction on it. But every now and then I get into those conversations with people when it's like, oh, the magnetic poles, they reverse every 100,000 to 500,000 years, and it causes chaos and will strip off the atmosphere and all this sort of stuff. And I just look at them like, Lucy is 1.3 million years old, right? And Lucy being the missing link between apes and humans. So are you saying that every 500,000 years we start evolving from scratch? Like all these horrible natural disasters that happen on that level of scale, you think we just then what? The magnetic pole switch strips the atmosphere, radiates everything, and we just then pick up from scratch from there? Really? Is that what people think happens? Sorry, I'm so tired. I didn't sleep. Stupid plumbing issues in my bathroom, keeping me awake, stressed out. Yes, Lane, Running Deer. Hurricanes have nothing to do with tectonics. That's tsunamis, yes. Which is just again part of the reason why I love geostorms so much, because they have these, weather satellites, because climate change got out of control. So they made these weather satellites to keep things under control. And one of them causes tsunamis. A weather satellite that causes tsunamis. It's like, yeah, that's in the forecast. So today, in today's forecast, we have a 15-foot tsunami hitting Brazil, the coast of Brazil. Oh yeah, Letterhack has something coming on. He's premiering a video tonight, I believe at 9:30. So you can go and check that out. I'm going to be too tired to function by then because for those of you who are joining late, there's some plumbing issues in my bathroom that kept me up very late last night. And they're not fixed yet, so I'm still kind of stressed out about it. Wondering if my toilet was going to explode or something overnight. So I didn't get much sleep, and then I was up early so that I could go visit family and drive all the way out to visit them. And it was a pleasant visit with my family, which was a relief, because I can get super stressed out about seeing family. But small family gathering, and found out my brother-in-law is a lot more left-leaning than I thought he was. Still has a long way to go, but, he's going in the right direction. Good night, Environmental Coffee House. Have fun editing. I know I always do. Believe it or not, I like the editing process. I'm one of the few people. It's OCD, ADH thing. Like I have to make sure that when I do a fade in and fade out of text or something like that, it's exactly the same number for each one. Like all those little details. And then just the hyper focus that I do on it. I can be working on it for hours and then realize, oh, I haven't eaten yet today. Then Running Deer. Yeah, it's pathetic they have technology to predict what Mother Nature can and will do. 90% of the time it's wrong. Yeah, and it's just going to get worse with all the ups and downs and stuff like that. Oh, the Letterhack stream starts at 9 p.m. Looney Tunes? Okay. Then that's a good time for me to cut this off, because I've been on here for 2.5 hours already. But I hope it helps people, Like I said, I don't want people to feel all so lonely today with it being the holidays and not everyone has places to be today. So, yeah, okay. Let's see. BKK, LOL, 500,000 years is nothing on this planet. We actually accelerated our evolution because we started cooking meat. Yeah, there's some interesting representations of like the time, like the age of the planet and where we fall on it, and there's like these graphs, and all of a sudden this tiny little dot at the end is entire human civilization and stuff. Like it's people don't understand how old this planet is compared to how long we've lived on it. And that before we were here, there was a planet functioning in ways that we could have never imagined. Like that's the only reason why I want a time machine, is to go to, times before humans and just see all the different animals and plant life and everything, that was once upon a time in the world, and how different it was, especially with the tectonic plates in different areas and causing different currents and different oceans and inlets and things of that sort. Like I like lizards. So I like dinosaurs. And I don't cook my meat. I burn it quite regularly. I end up burning it. I'm not a good cook. I am not a good cook. Lefty, Sam Cedar, and the Tsunami Satellite. I don't know what that has to do with it. I was trying to joke one time. He never read my IM at the time. Because it was something about there's always that talk of Hurricane Sandy or something like that, and how Sam wants his revenge on Canada, and then there was a hurricane aiming for like closer inland to Canada where I live, actually, that was actually named Sam. But since they didn't spell my name right, it's not officially a hurricane named after me. I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't get things named after me exactly because of the spelling of my name. As I say, my mom cursed me to a life of no personalized toothbrushes. And as a kid, it was annoying, and I used to get very upset when people spelled my name wrong without really understanding that it was an unusual spelling, so don't expect people to ask, how do you spell it when, 90% of the time it's spelt one way. But as I got older, I learned to appreciate having a unique name. And I actually need to eat something substantial still tonight, which probably won't end up being that substantial. Yeah, it's actually, I'm curious about something. It happened. So I made my video about Rebel HQ, my time at Rebel HQ, and oh, we got kitty cat. And I was hoping that it would get a lot more views than it did. But the thing that I find interesting is that there's like a steady stream of views still. Like it still is increasing fairly regularly almost every day, which is odd because it's usually the first day and then it's done when it comes to views. But there still seems to be like a steady stream of views in that video, and it just got over 9K, which is nice. Which makes it the second most watched video on my channel. But I was really hoping that that video would do better, considering, how much of my neck I put on the line with it. Lanier. He scratched my wrist yesterday. You see that? When he was getting all clingy like this, and then I tried to put him down, and his foot just scraped my wrist and sliced it open. Here we have Lanier. I think he's going to be okay, so the vet bill for him shouldn't be bad. It's just to basically check out to make sure the virus is completely out of his lungs and that he doesn't get any lingering infections. I love his little goatee. His little white goatee here. Ah. I always poke on it and he gets mad. Bad Lefty. It was great work, Sandy. You can be well proud of it no matter how many views you get in it. I do feel like I did a good job with it at that. But it still frustrates me, like, even with all the caveats I put in there, some people still accusing me of, like, not being open-minded or gatekeeping leftism and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, you really don't listen to anything, do you? Because I say at the beginning, it's like, I'm not trying to cancel TYT. It's just they have some, and I say they have some takes that are right-wing, and people don't listen to that. And they just say, they just think I'm calling TYT completely right-wing, everyone there, and it's a right-wing network now. And it's like, that's not what I said. It's not what I said. Or the people are still like, oh, well, I kind of agree with Anna on the birthing people thing. And it's like, well, then shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear from you because you're not paying attention. Because it's more than about that. It's about trans rights and trans issues and non-binary rights and non-binary issues and people who are still like, the idea of birthing people is just, and it reduces people down to biological things and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, shut up. If you're not going to listen, don't bother speaking. Because it's not just breaking a woman down to her body parts. And that's something that a lot of women like to do when, going against trans women is to then break them down to their body parts. Yes, Bad Lefty, it's very hard to stay mad at this little guy. Although it happens, because he breaks a lot of things too. Okay, well, it's almost 9 o'clock. Letter Hack show is going to be starting, so everyone can go over there. I need to get a little something to eat. Frodo! Frodo's over there. Are you going to come over, Frodo? Come on over. No, he's not. He knows. He knows what I would do. Anyway, let's do this. So, I'm sure y'all know the drill by now. I'm on this Patreon. If you can, please support my content. It really helps. My goals, or my hopes and dreams and wishes for next year is 2.5 things. I'm calling it 2.5 things. The 1.5 thing is for my YouTube channel and my art to start bringing in enough income that I can actually scrape by on. That is one of my goals. And I call it 1.5 because it's about my YouTube channel and about my art. But it's the same thing that I want from them. And then the other one is to get my goddamn book published. To find a way to get it published. I need to get that book published. It's written, it's been ready to go for years. I need it done. Yeah, I have a PayPal linked below, as well as if you're Canadian, can send an e-transfer to SandeeLovas@gmail.com. And that money right now goes towards paying off Frodo's vet bills, which I'm still about $600 shy of. So any help with that is greatly appreciated, but please, only if you have the extra money. Do not sacrifice anything you need to help me out. I'll manage somehow. Yeah, I'm on these social medias, as I'm sure everyone knows, although I'm primarily on this one. The Hostile Fart Sauna, as I call it. Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I'm getting like super sleepy right now. It's like, it's so cute. You're so cute. You're so cute. Down you go. Down you go. I actually have an email from my Left of the Box account. Somebody saying something about maybe helping me with my publishing, but I just read the title and I haven't actually read the email yet because ADHD, and I actually forget to check that email a lot because I almost never get emails to it. So it's my goal tomorrow to actually check that. And also, thank you everyone to help me get over 6,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. It's, I wasn't expecting to hit that by the end of the year, but here we are, so it's great. Next goal, let's hit 7,000 before the end of the year. Can we do that in the next few days? I would need a pretty big shout out on a larger channel in order for that to happen. Yes, I will go to bed, and hopefully I'll be able to go to bed with the noisy water heater and plumbing issues nearby. Yeah, Christmas Eve is when my plumbing decides to crap out, literally. But the super of the building came in, turned off the water, so it should be fine for there now. And I have in their toilet I have access to, so. Yes. Everyone, go check out the letter hack. I'm done. I'm done. But I hope this helped people who maybe were feeling a little bit lonely today. So let's do this officially. Let's sit up. Salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Oh, right. Wednesday will be my next live stream. I'm so disconnected. Wednesday, I'll be doing a regular live stream around 6 o'clock, if all holds out okay. So tune in for that for news and stuff. With that said, I'm done. Salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'm Sandy, wishing your tomorrow is better than your today.